lady.
Okay.
All right. You want to go ahead and share the screen of the slideshow so we can have that visible and ready to go too. Awesome. Isn't it pretty? So
Yes, very.
happy and colorful. Almost makes you want to go school supply shopping.
Mhm.
Almost. Except for the fact that it's expensive.
I do pen paling,
Absolutely.
so I know this is when I hit if I need more paper or pencils or anything, because I do pen paling and I ship all over the world. This is when I hit all of that.
Cool. I don't know what that is, but you'll have to tell me about that later.
When you write
Um,
letters, actual letters to people, like way back in the day.
Well, I know what pen pals are, but yeah, anyway. Okay, so let's go ahead and launch into it. Janet and I are going to be doing this class together. Sorry, I'm just trying to plug in over here. So we're going to do a little bit of sharing about how to go back to school prepared with all of your back to school supplies, including things that are going to help you keep your kids from getting sick when everybody at school wants to share it and bring it home. You send it home with you. So we're focused here on obviously doTERRA and natural solutions. So we will be sure to kind of include a lot of different things that will be useful as it relates to this topic. Janet, you want to go ahead and just quickly introduce yourself, give a little
Okay.
one or two.
So I'm Janet Heron, and I'm been working with Brittany for like almost 10 years, I guess, using essential oils. And I'm currently going to school for a master's in Ayurveda and essential oils. So I'm so excited to be here. I'm so happy everybody's coming in. And we'll keep looking for
Love you, Mom. Having a good day so far?
what?
I don't think she was talking to us. I don't know. She muted herself, so I think we're okay. So yeah, here are kind of the bullet points of the agenda. What we're going to try to touch on is all about going back to school, but staying healthy and having the tools that you need. So we're going to give you some diffuser recipes. We're going to talk about some easy snacks to do that are healthy and incorporate some of the oils. And then, of course, we're going to talk about some school supplies that you're going to need to take back with you into this season. I say take back with you or send your kid back to school with if you're not the kid. And then tips and tricks in general, lots of cool stuff here. So you're probably going to want to take some screenshots or let us know if you want the notes afterwards so we can be sure to send you all of the goodies that are going to be in here.
Look,
Okay.
look at these happy, excited kids. So I know school can be exciting, but it's also very challenging. So we have the solutions for that.
And you wouldn't know anything about that, would you,
I, I,
Janet?
I have PTSD working on this. Now I'm a retired elementary teacher. So yes, I know all about the excitement and the frustrations and everything that kids experience at school.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So here are some of our favorite blends for oils in general, but these are specifically tailored for kids so they're ready to go. You don't have to worry about diluting it more for little ones. But the key that you want to take away from this slide are some of the emotions or feelings that kids need. We all need this, but especially you want to sort of send them out into battle defended, like able to protect themselves and defend themselves from all of the things that want to take away their ability to feel confident and protected, comfortable, grounded, aligned, peaceful. These are all things that we all want to feel, but it's especially easy to not feel that way when you're going back to school. So there's an oil paired with each of these kind of categories, and we'll get into that a little bit closer to the end of the class. We'll circle back to that. Right. So this right here is what we call the doTERRA Wellness Pyramid. So you'll notice at the bottom, we consider this to be our foundation, is all about how we exist, starts with what we eat and eating right. So after that, you're going to want to support that with exercise and then resting and managing stress. Beyond that, toxic load is a big thing. And then, of course, outside of what you typically need for your day-to-day lifestyle support, you have healthcare. So that's going to be more proactive, like informed self-care, and then proactive medical care. So that's kind of, a separate bucket, if you will. We're going to talk about each of these sections in a few different ways and give you some ideas as we go through the next few slides or several slides. So speaking of eating right, we have an awesome chewable multivitamin. So I just want to kind of highlight some of the bullet points here. It's specifically made for kids, and it's all about helping them to grow and develop and then keep a healthy immune system. So key things are going to be obviously your base essential vitamins, but then you also have vitamins A, C, and E, and then a variety of B vitamins in here. And then you have more bioavailable minerals than normal vitamins. These are going to come from whole foods, so they're more easy for your body to absorb, and that's going to be calcium, magnesium, zinc, copper, and manganese. And this is typically going to be for like little ones, but then as you get to be, like more into teenage years and beyond, obviously all the way into adulthood, you're going to need a little bit more of an adult friendly or an adult ready vitamin. So we have this awesome new thing called VMG Plus. And so it stands for Vitamins, Minerals, and Greens Plus. So it's basically everything in one. I used to take a green powder and a separate vitamin and mineral, and then another one to kind of fill in the gaps from that, which felt like I was taking pills, chasing it all day long, and never actually getting to take everything that I needed to take. So I've switched to just the VMG. It's one little sachet. I keep it in my purse. I take it in the morning. And then if I forget when I'm out and about, have one in my purse ready to go. And I don't have to remember to reload a pill caddy or whatever. And then, of course, you can send this to with kids. Like if they like to take their vitamins right before they play sports, they can have this ready to go, and it'll give them that like extra little oomph to do really great in practice or whatever. I love this new product here.
And for really young children too, you can put it in a smoothie and divide it, for the younger ones.
Yeah, like give them half at a time or even less if you wanted to. That makes sense. I like it. Another thing that we really want to highlight here is going to be probiotics. So we have a specific one that is kind of more catered for children. It is a powder that you just dump in your mouth, kind of like the candy pixie sticks. It tastes good. It actually tastes like it's got sugar in it, but it doesn't. And it's like flavored like strawberry and melon. So it actually is like attractive to kids, but it's got a huge variety of strains of probiotics as well as the count of the probiotics. So it's really easy to deliver it. And a lot of us know about little kids and their belly aches. So I think this is essential to kind of help them build their whole life with a strong immune system. On the right side here, you might want to take a screenshot of that if that's something that you want to go back and read more about. But basically, these are counts of different types of bacteria. So it's going to be a variety of different species, and then each species is going to have a specific strain of that species. I've done quite a bit of researching about this, and I feel like there's just even more to learn. So that's a starting point, I guess you could say. And then the last thing we're going to kind of hit on here with the supplementation is going to be the omegas. So we all kind of have a lot of certain omegas and then none or very little of other ones that are also essential. So it's going to be 3, 6, and 9. And I believe we have a lot of 9 in our diet just everywhere. It's like we're overrun with it. And then 6 is also usually pretty easy to say it's sufficient in our diet. But the 3s are going to be where we're really not delivering what we need to our bodies. So this one is not only going to be giving you that specific gap to be, filled with this, but it's also going to give you an option that is tasty, meaning it doesn't taste like fish, and it's sustainably sourced. So if you care about that, this is a great way of kind of knowing that you're not doing any harm to the environment or the species. But what's cool about this is you can just poke a hole in it and squeeze that little bit of oil or omega in the spoon if you don't want to take the pill. It actually tastes pretty delicious. or you could just take the pill, which is what I usually do.
And the wild orange has the limonene in it, which prevents oxidation of the fish oil, so it keeps it really fresh and
Mhm.
it tastes so good.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I know people who actually like the way it tastes, so they prefer to just throw it in their mouth and bite down on it, which to each his own, you know? So here we have one of our most, I can't even say unsung heroes. It is a highly sung hero, if you will, within our ecosystem of doTERRA, because this is a powerhouse of oils, all in one pill that you can just take. You can do this as like a maintenance of just like taking one or two a day, or you can ramp it up whenever you are either facing a threat or not feeling well, to help reduce how long you are down by taking, even more of these. I know of people who've taken several of these in a day when they were actively feeling bad, and they felt like they got over it like 2 or 3 times faster than they would have if they didn't have this guy on deck. It's got a lot of oils in it. We won't really get into those now, but we will have future classes where we dig into On Guard for sure. And then, of course, speaking of congestion, Ariel, we have the entire Breathe line. This is like men, a lot of men really like this one, but kids also really love these oils. I love the Breathe drops, what you see back there. Those are not only very helpful when you feel congested, but they taste good too. And then you have this Breathe stick. I love it. It's like a Vicks Vapor Rub kind of, but it's not greasy. It's like in a smooth stick that you can just rub on, and it feels like kind of like a cream, I guess, but not oily at all. And then of course, everybody loves and knows about Breathe. They also have it in a roller bottle that's already diluted, so it's convenient and easy to use, but it's also a little bit more gentle for sensitive skin.
Yeah, and there's no petroleum products in it. It's all healthy and non-toxic.
Right.
Yes, and
Clean.
Ariel's been using that, she said, and her kids loving it. So good.
Okay, so more about On Guard. So we could, like I said, we could do a whole class on Guard, but when it comes to your immune system, this is kind of an easy one to sprinkle throughout your life so that you're always getting a little bit of On Guard throughout your day. So it's in my toothpaste, it's in my mouthwash, and then we also have these awesome chewable tablets. That's when you need a little extra, C, zinc. I think it's got frankincense maybe in it. And then, of course, it's got some of the oils like the On Guard oils, cinnamon, clove, lemon, those kinds of things. But it's just easy to take. You pop it in your mouth, chew it up. There you go. You got your vitamin. Very kid friendly. All right. Now let's talk about oils a little more. So right now we're going to kind of focus on how to use oils. There's a lot of ways to use them. We categorize it 3 different ways. You have aromatic, topical, and internal. So aromatic is pretty simple. You just smell it. You're getting the aromatic benefit if you can smell it. So that's breathing it in out of the bottle, putting it in your hands and taking a deep breath, putting it in the diffuser, anything like that. So we'll have a few examples of each of those here in a second. But the key takeaway here is going to be the ways that you are able to benefit. So like diffusing to help with sleep, putting oils on the tummy to help with the upset stomach, putting oils in the diffuser to help you breathe better, putting oils on topically where you have a boo-boo. And then, of course, for teething, you can rub it on the jaw, and that's going to give you the topical benefit, even though you're not putting it inside of their mouth. It's a cute slide, too. Here's one that you might want to screenshot if you're looking for some nice school-friendly diffuser blends. We've got something for focus. We've got something for immune support. We've even got that genius diffuser blend. That's when they want to be like laser focused so they can study and soak up all of that knowledge. Then, of course, we have the sleep one. And then I see at the top the rise and shine. That's going to help you start your day and get out of bed and go. All right. Okay, so I'm sure we've all heard about growing pains. So we're going to go with a nice, friendly growing support. So this is going to be one of the first times we talk about the kids' oils a little bit here. You see that rescuer. It is the kids' version of Deep Blue. It has things like copaiba and peppermint in it that just really helps to soothe aches and pains. So for little kids, you just roll it on their legs where they're getting those, you know, weird little pains in their legs from growing. But of course, you can also just use deep blue or deep blue rub, similar to how you would use it on an adult, you know, achy, you know, body and muscles and things like that, bruises, a little bit of tension, that kind of stuff. But with little ones, you want to make sure to dilute because these are sort of spicy oils, especially to their, you know, kind of new skin. Okay, everybody knows about bedtime routines. Definitely critical when it comes to getting kids to thrive. You want to make sure that they not only have a good routine, but that they follow it so that it becomes a habit. So some of the best things you can do here is going to be diffusing. That sort of sets the tone for the environment, and they'll just kind of get into that groove with it, with you. And then of course you have the kids calmer blend. I use this one a lot. I keep it by my bedside. I really just enjoy the way it smells. And it's a little bit more subtle than the adult sleep stuff, like the Serenity soft gels and the Serenity oil. This one's just a little bit smoother for me. So I really like to have that one to roll on my feet at night. And there are other suggestions we can make here, but since this is all about kids, we'll stick with just the calmer blend for now. All right. Okay, so speaking of Rise and Shine, once again, this is a roller bottle that you can make. I think I've seen this blend on a t-shirt. It's so popular. This tangerine, spearmint, and lime. Literally, it's a diffuser blend on the t-shirt. And I just think that is so indicative of how much people love it. But of course, here you can also put it in a roller bottle. And there you go. You have a nice little perfume that will help you to wake up and get your day going. Whether you're a kid or an adult, that would be pretty useful. So when we talk about using oils aromatically, one of the main things that we're usually talking about is going to be memory and stress. So this blend is called First Day Jitters, and it is either the option to buy the adaptive roller that's already made or make your own kind of spin on that type of blend. And so this one is Balance, Serenity, and Citrus Bliss. So it's not the same exact oils that are in adaptive, but if you were to list them out, a lot of overlap and very similar benefits. You can kind of choose your own adventure there and get that benefit from, like I said, aromatic, but going back to the foundational wellness pyramid, this part is going to help you to focus on resting and managing stress. And then I love, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to point out that you're using it also topically and aromatically. So, it goes into the body and also the mood with the aromatic.
Yeah, kind of 1-2 punch. And then I just think it's cute down here where it says, roll yourself and the kids as needed throughout the day. So this is not only useful for them, it's also good for us. I just think that's so awesome. All right, go ahead. Okay, so here's another one you might want to screenshot if you just want some ideas for diffusers. We have the chill out. That's kind of like winding down time, or maybe you had a hard day and we just want to kind of like check out of it. And then of course the homework helper is going to be more for like getting into that focused study mode. I don't know why, but I'm running in my head when I'm talking about studying. This next one here is the immunity booster. Before we got too far into the class, I think Ariel, you might have mentioned a roller bottle that you made called the Floof blend. I think this is kind of it, or pretty close to it. It's got frankincense, tea tree, on guard, lemon, and oregano. So I don't know how to make that into an acronym, but flume, flute. We all have like funny names that we name them. Floof, I've heard that one before. But it's basically a roller bottle that's a powerhouse of oils that when you don't feel good and you want to still be able to like have it convenient to put the oils on you several times, a roller bottle is the way to go with that, because you can just swipe it on, and then an hour later when you want to do it again, you don't have to open up all 5 of those oils again just to swipe it on again. And then of course at the bottom it says to cut that recipe in half if you're doing it for little ones, because that was the adult recipe. Okay, so this is a recipe that I swear by. I'm an adult. but I have a lot of problems with my ears. So I use this religiously. I literally travel with it because whenever I'm on a plane, riding down the car, going swimming too much, it seems like I'm going to run into an ear issue at some point. So these three oils together has saved me more times than I can count from needing to go to the doctor. So basil, tea tree, and lavender, 10 drops of each. Thank me later. All right. Now, we all know about creepy crawly stuff in the hair at school times, right? I don't even want to name them. So gross. Yeah, we'll call them cooties. So this is a great preventative solution that you can just have as a routine. Like, you know, you're walking out the door, you spritz their hair. You let them take it in control for themselves and give a little bit of spritz on around their head, their backpack, their hats, anything like that. And this will kind of deter any of that stuff from wanting to come and live in your house. It's going to be tea tree, peppermint, and rosemary, and it's just 10 drops of each. This bottle here is the hand sanitizer bottle, so you can literally repurpose an old hand sanitizer bottle and make a new spray, or whatever bottle you have is fine. And there's a little bit of witch hazel in there that just helps keep it from being all water, so it doesn't feel wet when you spray them. Okay, here's a great little idea for starting your own first aid kit. Looks like the F got cut off there. Sorry about that, guys. But it does say first aid kit. So one of the things here that we love that you may not have heard of is called Correct-X. Everybody knows about like a ointment for bobos and stuff like that. This is doTERRA's answer to that. So it's petroleum free, but it has 5 oils in it and all the same bang and benefit that you're looking for that ointment kind of feel and effect. Love this product. I use it on everything from my face to my feet. I love it. It helps with everything from cuts, chapped lips, skin irritation, bruise, bug bites, burns, you name it. Love this stuff. And then lavender touch is also just kind of an answer to everything. Love it.
So it should be on their school supply list that they take to school.
Yeah, send that to the school for the teachers. Okay, so of course now we got to talk about those big kids. They're also going back to school. Sports, hormones, other kids focusing. It's all hard, right? Especially because it's the first time that they've had to do a lot of this stuff. So for boys, but also for girls, this slide is very relevant. It's talking about clear skin. I know every teenage boy and girl cares about that. So this is definitely beyond just boys. We have the deep blue. Again, this is useful for everybody who's active. And then we have the Purify, like it says, stinky gym bag, sneakers, just literally a drop in the shoe, and the shoe won't begin to smell and have an odor. It's just awesome. Almost there. Go forward one more. So the next slide is going to be for our ladies. We also have the HD Clear here. It's the same exact line that was on the other one, but of course there is an oil, a different oil there. We're talking about Claricon. Swear by this one. When I first found doTERRA, I loved this one so much that this was how I knew these were going to be in my daily life. I literally put it next to my toothbrush so that in the mornings I would remember this is important and I need to do it just as importantly as brushing my teeth is. Right. If there's time at the end, Breezy, we'll definitely take your testimonial Angela's telling us about. We'll come back to that in a little bit. So let's talk about snacks. So we have a lot of different ways that you can use oils in snacks, but since we're touching on the 3 ways to use oils, we haven't really talked about internal much. This is kind of why this is featured in this class, but these recipes are also really good ideas. And I don't think any of them are very hard. They don't require a lot of like time and setup and effort and waiting. You can kind of just do it. And then like shortly after, like I think the brownies, you're looking at probably about 30 minutes. And then the popcorn, of course, doesn't take much time at all. And then the next one is, oh yeah, Janet, you want to tell us about these black bean brownies? Oh, you're on mute.
So these are very easy to make and they're very good. They don't have any flour, no sugar. just honey and black beans, so it has protein. And I like to put more than 2 to 4 drops of peppermint. I usually put about 6 or 8.
Okay. Good tip. I gave those last time you gave me some of those brownies, I shared them with somebody because I'm generous and I'm not going to be selfish and keep all the brownies to myself. And you know what? I didn't get any of those brownies. I shared and they were just gone. So they must have been really good. I obviously tasted one, but then
Yeah,
I think
it's I think they're better if you refrigerate them because they can get kind of soft. So if you keep them in the refrigerator,
okay,
harder.
thank you. All right, now we can't forget about teachers. Teachers need essential oils too. These are some ideas for how teachers can use them, but this is also broadly applicable to all of us. So we have the happy oil period instead of happy hour. They have the happy oil period. We have germs, obviously talking about purify oil with the stinky rooms. And then, of course, just calming down the classroom with that serenity oil. And then, of course, all right, everybody, time to focus. Get that peppermint oil out, and suddenly people start looking at their desk and getting their pencil to paper. All right, and speaking of teachers, of course, we have the teachers at home. We have homeschool tips here. This is probably useful for just about everybody. But of course, when it comes to kids, you're especially trying to focus on routines. So frankincense is in the lunch, I'm sorry, balance is in the morning. And then, of course, frankincense in the lunchtime instead of that afternoon slump. You just kind of help them keep moving through. And then we have adaptive, help you kind of get into the evening. Oh, I skipped over the afternoon. It's going in a circle. Sorry. Cleaning the classroom. I know that this is something I used to enjoy when I was a little kid. When I was getting ready to shut down the day, the teacher would let us clean our desks with shaving cream. So I think this is a better option than that. And then, of course, we have the evening routine oils, so adaptive, and then bath salts to kind of help that routine. Now, to finish us out strong here with our oils, we're going to come back to the kids collection. So you can see there's 7 oils in this cute little carrying case. And then each oil has a matching carabiner so they can clip it onto their backpack. You know, if you want to send them with their favorite one for the day, they can take it with them and they're not going to lose it because it's attached to their backpack or whatever you clip it to. And then the cute little cards over there are like, there's like a little graphic on there showing you how to use the oil. So it'll be like a little image of the body, and then it'll have like the mind, the body, or the
heart.
Heart. Thank you. I was like, what is it? And then a little bit of information about how you would use that oil. So if it's for, if it's the tamer blend, it's going to talk about how they can use that for an upset stomach. And there's emotional benefits as well as physical benefits for each of these. So the first one is going to be Brave. I absolutely adore this oil. I think it just makes me happy. It is meant to help them have the courage to, speak up for themselves and, sometimes be vulnerable so they can make a new friend, overcoming fears, that kinds of thing. It's got like a sort of a citrusy minty thing going on. And then there's just a tiny little touch of vanilla. Okay.
And notice that the heart on the bottle will tell them, okay, this is about your emotions, how you feel if it's got the heart. So that
Yeah,
keep you.
that's true. And I think there's either 2 or 3 for each section. So this one's got the brain. Obviously, that's talking about the mind. This one's called Calmer. We kind of talked about it earlier for sleep. It's also just good for feeling like worried or anxious, like when you have that kind of overwhelmed brain, you just kind of want to come back to center. First of all, breathing is so, so, so important and helpful for anybody who's dealing with this. But then sometimes it's hard to remember to breathe. So then if you have an additional thing that just makes you breathe because you have to breathe in order to get the benefit of the oil, you get 2 benefits in one. Not only is it helping to regulate that breathing, so you're just literally taking breaths, you're getting the essential oil as well. All right. Okay, Rescuer, we kind of touched on this a little earlier. This one can be useful both for physical and emotional But this one's meant to target the benefit of the body. So like aches and pains, that's a very physical thing, right? But there's also like emotional fear and pain. So we can use this to overcome those kinds of things as well. And then, of course, you can use these to anchor in positive feelings. So it talks about inner strength emerges. So you're training yourself that when you smell that, you feel more courageous or, you know, strong. All right, stronger. This is literally one that I keep in my purse. It has powerful oils. This is probably the most affordable way that you can get your hands on rose oil because it's in there. There's also cedarwood, frankincense, and then I can't think of what the fourth one is right now. I'm usually pretty good at
Yeah, I looked in.
Litsea. Thank you. That explains why I couldn't remember it. It's a little bit of an oddball. But those are all really, really helpful for the immune system, but they're really gentle for kids. So they're perfect for giving them all of the benefit and none of the like intense, spicy stuff that some of us, adore about, say, like On Guard. So this one's emotional. We're talking about strength, both physical and emotional. So we're using this to protect against negativity. Sometimes talk about making yourself have a little bubble. This to me gives me that protective barrier of feeling like I have my own bubble so that other people's negativity doesn't stick to me as much. And then, of course, it helps with, like, we're talking about boundaries and things like that. But ultimately, it's inner fortitude, your inner strength that you can stay anchored to because of your own kind of confidence in your ability to do that. This helps with both physical and emotional strength. And we've got the Steady Blend. This is the kids' version of Balance, I would say. It kind of sort of smells a little similar to it, but it's a lot more subtle, much more like subtle. So this is going to be mostly about emotions. So we're talking about feeling grounded, feeling centered, being brave enough to face the unknown, knowing that the outcome will be exactly what it should be, or hopefully it's going to be what is ultimately best for you. And then, of course, the permission or the space to shut it all out and go within. That's what this oil will give you permission to do. And I just love that for kids and for me. All right, so here we go with Tamer. Maybe I'm a weirdo, but I love all of the kids' oils so much, like sometimes more than some of the adult counterparts. So I don't use digestin that much. I also don't have like a more serious issue with digestion than some people do, a lot of people do. So when I have like a little nausea or something like that, this is what I usually go to. It's going to be both helpful for physical nausea and upset stomach, but also emotional things that cause you to have an upset stomach. So stress, tension, and things like that. So I love how it says here we have the coping with unexpected news. So, you get that like anxious feeling like you're going to throw up. This is something that can help, especially if you're about to deliver the bad news. Maybe you kind of prep it with a little bit of an environment, makes it where you can handle that news a little easier. And then taking in those, new pieces of information and assimilating that and not having the meltdown that, maybe a lot of kids want to instinctively have. And then, of course, this thing we like to do where we bottle it all up, stuff it down. This helps to kind of release that in a more controlled manner so it's not such an explosion. So it may not totally avoid the temper tantrum, but maybe shave off the rough edges. Of course, this is the Thinker blend. We have an adult blend called Intune that's yummy. It's got sandalwood and patchouli and all these really wonderful grounding things, but it's really kind of strong for kids. They don't necessarily want to go to school and have people know that they're using it. So this is the answer to that. It doesn't have a super strong smell, but it has all of that same benefit that kids need, frankly. I mean, I think everybody needs help with focus. I don't know anybody that just can focus effortlessly all the time. So I think this is a great way to kind of bring in a little bit of that stability so that you can focus by helping you to prioritize what it is that you need to be focusing on and doing and acting on. So it's got peppermint in it. I know it's also got vetiver in it, but there's probably like 5 or 6 oils in there.
Rosemary. It has rosemary and clementine. So, rosemary, a lot of research has been done on that for memory.
And focus. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now let's talk a little bit about what makes doTERRA so special. Why are we so different? Why are we so loyal to this awesome company? For me, it goes to how they treat people. To me, how you treat people every day, all in for your whole life, adds up to be who you are. You may have a moment where you slip up and you say something or do something that you shouldn't have done, but overall, people know that you treat them well or you don't. That's my opinion. And I think doTERRA treats their people really well on both sides of the bottle, meaning the people who are growing the plants and bottling them for us, as well as us who are consuming it and ultimately causing this cycle of where we kind of support each other. So doTERRA specifically focuses on sourcing in a way that will benefit both sides of the bottle. And I just love that. It goes to, the way that we grow the plants, as well as the way that people are paid a fair and ethical wage, so we're not taking advantage of people. And then, of course, those of us on the receiving end of the bottle know that these plants have been grown in a way that is not only, good for the earth, but it yields the absolute best essential oil that can be grown. And I think that we are confident in that. We know that with our whole self because of the transparency that doTERRA gives us, where we know where the product comes from, how it's grown, that it doesn't have pesticides, it doesn't have all kinds of, bad energy attached to how it got in our hands. So that to me is ultimately what makes doTERRA different. But if you go to the next slide, there's a fun little game here. Before you hit the button, I want y'all to look at this for like 10, 15 seconds and try to figure out where you think some of these oils came from. And then I'll give you like 10 seconds, 15 seconds to just kind of pick a couple that you want to try to say, I think this one comes from here. And then give you like 5 more seconds. I want you to hit the next button, Janet, and you'll see the answers. It's all mapped out there for you. If you want to go back and see if you were right, maybe just take a screenshot, because obviously we're trying to end in like 4 minutes, which probably not going to happen. I'm a talker, but you can go back and see if you were right on some of them. All right. Go ahead. Okay, so wrapping up the class, we're going to talk really quickly about how those of you who either don't have these or want to share with your friends a little bit of helpful information about how to do that and why you might like to do that. So we break it down in threes. So we have 3 different types of people. There are, like how I started, I just wanted to know more about living a healthy, clean lifestyle. So we call that the wellness lifestyle, where you're using clean products and moral products. And then the second category is going to be people who not only want to do that, but then they can't help but share with their friends or people they know, and they get the benefit of some of their products being paid for. That's how I started out. Kind of once I was ready to take the first step past just having a product or two, I was ready to share because I wanted to have a lot more oils. And of course, having them pay for themselves in that way just made sense to me. And then the third option is people who really see and catch the vision of what's going on here, want to be part of it, and maybe even have a radical change to how they live their life and take care of their family. So those people can come to doTERRA and build a nice business, earning an income and making an impact, which is not something that most people can say about their job. You either earn an income or make an impact for the most part. So if you go to the next slide, it breaks down kind of what that looks like. We have the nasty, ugly word of retail. Nobody likes to pay retail. I used to say, friends don't let friends pay retail. And doTERRA's made it pretty effortless. There's no reason to pay retail because the wholesale is free. You can buy one product and get a wholesale discount. So why wouldn't you? It doesn't make sense. But it is an option for the people out there who just have to do that. I literally know people just recently who were like, nope, retail. Okay, fine, whatever. If it allows you to take a step forward, we'll have you. And then by and large, the rest of us, probably like 99% of the people who are regular doTERRA users, we buy at wholesale. We get 25% off. The membership is free for the first year. And then it's like right there, it says $35 account fee. There should be a line through that, but it's waived. I missed that. But you get 25% off of retail. And then, of course, we have another further option. And this is for people who, a lot of people understand that Costco is where you go if you know you like something, but you're going to buy 12 of them, right? or you're going to come back next month and buy another one of whatever it was and you just wanted to save some money. So that's going to be your subscription option. So we call that below wholesale or the rewards program. It's going to give you up to 30% back in free products. So as long as you spend 50 points in products for a month, you're going to get at least 10% of that order back the following month. And over time, if you do those 50 PV orders, eventually, whether you do them every single month or just randomly, if you do it 13 times, you're going to be at 30% rewards, which is 55% below that ugly retail that nobody wants to pay. Sounds like a no-brainer to me. I'll take some toothpaste wholesale. Thanks. All right, go to the next slide.
I think that's it. That's the last one.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's it. We're good to go. So, yeah, I just kind of wanted to highlight the fact that there is no membership fee. There was another image that I wanted to add in there, and I guess I forgot to, that just said, like, you know, new thing is they've waived the wholesale membership fee for anybody and everybody who's just buying a product. And of course, you're not going to pay the wholesale membership fee if you weren't planning to buy a product anyway, right? Pretty easy. Any questions? No? Awful quiet. All right. You can turn off the recording then.
Thanks, Britt. You did awesome.
In the airport.
You're in the airport? Rock on.
Yeah. See? Yeah.
Are you going to Colorado?